Sorry. Dante's a baby, okay? I hate your daddy. Let me explain from the beginning. Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Is back talking about books. Today we are going to be talking about King of Wrath. This is going to be my review to it. It's the first book to ANA HUANG's new series. I believe she's writing a series based on the 7 deadly sins. So this one is going to be Wrath. If you don't know anything about this book, it is an enemies to lovers revenge plot, arranged marriage, close proximity, billionaire romance book. Yeah, that's like kind of all the tropes there. It is in the same vein of Twisted Love, and if you've ever read Hooked as well, where it's basically the whole premise of the book is a revenge plot against the main girl's dad. But there's more to it than that, because the main girl's dad actually blackmailed the main guy to have an arranged marriage with the main girl. Let me explain from the beginning. So this story follows Vivian. Vivian is a New York socialite. She's gorgeous, wealthy, and she is the daughter of a new money family. New money being that they came into their wealth within this generation. So Vivian's dad owns a jewelry store. When she was younger, really skyrocketed them to get into a lot of money and a lot of wealth. And because of that, their whole family and Vivian's dad really wants to be ingrained in socialite society and wants to be among his peers of really rich people, basically, in New York City. Vivian is a part of this, and so they're new money. Vivian is the protagonist who we are following. That is the main character, the female MC. Then we have on the other side, Dante. Dante is old money. His family has built this empire. I think it's like a Fortune 500 company. To be honest, while reading the whole thing, I don't even fucking know what they do. I don't know what they do. I just know that he's old money and he's really rich. He's dark, brooding, handsome, unattainable, and nobody can achieve him. And he's not really a dater. He's like a bachelor. Nobody's been around him. He's all work, no play, all business, no party. Dante, who's the main guy, wants a revenge plot against the main girl's dad. Why is this? Because we start off the book with Vivian and Dante knowing of each other, but they do not know each other. This arranged marriage was arranged by Vivian's dad, who actually blackmailed Dante into marrying his daughter so that their family can be a part of wealthy society and actually be respected and accepted into this wealthy society. So this is like arranged marriage. Like, these people do not know each other. They do not love each other. And they are going into this marriage not liking each other because they don't know each other. Dante especially doesn't like Vivian or her family because he was blackmailed to do this and forced to do this by Vivian's dad. What is the blackmail that Vivian's dad has on Dante is that Vivian's dad found footage of his brother and this mafia boss in New York, his daughter, fucking. Basically, he found this footage of his brother and this mafia princess messing with each other. And Vivian's dad goes up to Dante and says, hey, if you do not marry my daughter so that we are accepted into elite society, then I will show this footage to the mafia boss and your brother will get killed because nobody fucks the mafia princess. It's a very convoluted, complicated story, but that is how the story starts off. Dante obviously doesn't want to get married to some random girl he does not know. Throughout the whole beginning of the book, throughout most of the book, he tries so hard to get revenge on Vivian's family, goes into this arranged marriage and this arranged engagement, never actually expecting to actually marry her.
And let me tell you something, if there's one trope that I love in romance books, it is when there is a timeline on the relationship, and this shit had a timeline. This is temporary. I'm not gonna be actually marrying her. The wedding is gonna be within the year, and this relationship is gonna be cut off by next year. I don't know what it is about a timeline and like a deadline, but I freaking eat that shit up. It was in the kissing booth. The kissing booth? It was in the Kiss Quotient. It was in a lot of books that I really love. I think it was in Hook, Line, and Sinker. Yeah, I just love the trope. Anyway, that's my chaotic 3 a.m. editing this.
Just has the engagement up until the point where he can find all of the footage of his brother and that girl to destroy all of the evidence so that there's no blackmail. So he goes into this marriage hating Vivian. Vivian also doesn't really like Dante because he's an asshole, you know? They get into this arranged marriage. They live in the same apartment because even though it is an arranged marriage, and this is something that they do in elite society, they still have to play like it is a love match, even though it's not a love match. As time goes on, months move past, they start to get to know each other. They start to live a very domestic lifestyle, get used to each other, get used to each other's presence. And through that, over time, they do fall in love. This whole time as well, Vivian doesn't know that her dad is this horrible man. She has problems with her dad, right? She's literally being forced into marriage with a stranger that she doesn't know, just so that they can move up in society, and she doesn't really care about that stuff. So she has problems and tensions with her dad, but she's like, family's first, this, that, and third, I'll do anything for my family. That's basically the premise of the book. As the story goes on, obviously they fall in love with each other. Obviously there's a third act conflict, but everything gets revealed. The blackmail, how horrible Vivian's dad is. Then, you know, it all gets resolved in the end. What are my thoughts on it? I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I actually really enjoyed it. I think that there was a lot of the dynamics plot-wise I saw that were really good. I think that the progression of the relationship was very natural, and the way that the two characters fell in love with each other was really natural as well. And it was really sweet, heartwarming, and I think that there's just a lot of different plot points in this book that made a lot of sense, and they actually talk a lot about wealth, about family, and I think those instances in the book, it resonated with me, which I was very surprised on. Like, I think as an author, if you followed ANA HUANG since the beginning of her writing journey, or actually, I haven't even followed her since the beginning of her writing journey, because she's definitely written books before Twisted Love, but if you followed her since then, I think she's really improved as a writer. The family relations in the book is definitely one of the best parts of it, to see the dynamic between Vivian and her parents, and how wealth plays such a big part into it, about Dante and his parents. Everything about that just felt really believable. It felt real. Vivian can hold her own. If she gets disowned by her family because she doesn't want to marry this dude that she doesn't know, Dante, she can hold her own. She has her own job. She makes her own money, and she's still wealthy. But I think it's the honor of it and the family dynamics and wanting to be close to your family. You could really feel that through the book. She is Asian as well. They don't outright say like, oh, it's different in Asian households and this is why it's like this, like cultural differences. But it's mentioned enough in a very subtle way where you kind of get it is a very traditional mindset, and it's hard to just move away from your parents when it's toxic, especially in Asian households. And then on top of that, putting wealth into the equation. It's a very interesting dynamic, and I actually was one of my favorite parts about the book. It was very show and don't tell about how Vivian's father treats her and how much he idolizes money and power, as opposed to just telling us like, oh, I don't like my dad because this, that, and the third. As a whole, it's such a weird book because they talk about it too towards the end. That happens in the beginning, right? The way that this relationship came to be happened from such an insane place, through blackmail. And the families don't even like each other. They freaking hate each other. Nothing about this relationship should work. And it just shows how weird and complicated love is, because this couple and this beautiful thing happened, and it came out of something so bad. Something so horrible as blackmail, as death, as, you know, everybody just hating each other, something so negative, how something so positive came out of it. This relationship, this beautiful couple that fit each other really weirdly, they would have never gone together if it wasn't for Vivian's father blackmailing Dante. And then at the end, Dante's like, I hate your daddy, but he gave me you. So like, we're okay? Like, it's so weird. A very interesting conversation that you could have about the book. It's not just about love. It is obviously a romance and it is a love story, but I do like that they put those kind of different dynamics in there. I also like the couple. I think that they do a good job of showing the slow progression of their relationship. They don't just instantly fall in love with each other. Obviously, they're attracted to each other, but they kind of show the domesticity of their lifestyle and just being around each other's presence. It makes sense for the couple. Like, they're not extravagant, even though they're super rich, even though they do go to Bali, they do go to these places. The romance really comes in the small moments. It's like acts of service. He'll come home and buy her takeout from her favorite place or some shit like that, okay? And I fuck with that. Okay? I really liked it. I don't think overall that it's a really bad book. I do have the one negative thing I will say about it is that it was just missing the spark for me. I wasn't obsessed with it, and I say this a lot in my videos. I just wasn't absolutely utterly obsessed with this couple and like devoured this book, and I couldn't stop reading. I couldn't put it down. It was just very simple, very basic. It put in all the tropes that gets people to read books. It's not a crazy book. The smut doesn't go crazy. It doesn't go super hard like in Twisted Lies or anything. But I do think that it's very sweet. The couple's sweet. And it's not a bothersome book to read. You're not reading it and thinking, oh, I'm so annoyed at what's happening. Oh my God, these people are acting like children. That doesn't really happen in this as much. I just think it's really sweet and cute. I would definitely pick it up if you had the time and did not know what to read at all. It's very quick, fast, easy to read. That is what I will say. Also, if you have read the Twisted series, you do get Easter eggs of Twisted Lies because Christian is in this book and he talks about Stella. That is one thing I didn't like about it. The other thing that I felt really icky about was part of the wealth aspect of the book. I didn't like the power dynamics that Dante, who's the main character, I don't like how he acted in a lot of the scenes, especially when they showed off wealth and power. I know that is part of his character. I know he is not supposed to be the hero, a very justified guy. They did it to a point where I didn't really like him at times. For example, there's an entire subplot where Vivian has an ex-boyfriend. This ex-boyfriend's name's Heath. She thinks she is going to marry this man. She was in a long-term relationship with Heath, but because Vivian's family didn't approve of him, just because he wasn't uber rich, he wasn't part of elite society, Vivian's family said, you are not allowed to see Heath anymore. You cannot marry him. She was in love with Heath, and they broke up because of her family, because her family did not approve because he wasn't rich enough. Then 2 years later, Heath comes back into her life because he created his own startup, a tech company, and this company is going to be huge. It's like a new company. Heath is super smart and wants to get back with Vivian. Vivian, like, I want to be with you because I have enough money. I think your parents would accept me now because I have money. I know you don't care about that. I know it's all your family, but I want to be with you. I want to get married with you, this, then the third. Like, it's a whole thing. And Heath is just a working man who's smart and started his own company and wants to get back with Vivian. And then Vivian has to go, ooh, sorry, Heath, I'm engaged. Sorry. She has to say that. Then it's such a weird, complicated situation because yes, Heath does try to do the whole Mr. Steal a Girl thing. He goes to Vivian. Vivian, I know you don't want to be in this marriage with Dante. I know you actually don't like him. I know you love me. And he tries to do the whole like, oh, Mr. Steal a Girl thing of go after Vivian even though she's literally engaged. But what Dante does in the aftermath, I don't know, it just felt so icky because he does it multiple times in the book. Dante, he has a lot of power. He has a lot of blackmail ability. It just felt so bad for Heath because he's just this young guy who was in love with this girl, and the only reason why he couldn't be with her is because he was not rich, super rich. And he's probably a really good guy, honestly. And he probably did think that Vivian really loved him, honestly. I just felt so bad for him because he started this whole company off his own back, off his own merit. This is something that was from his merit. You know, he's not a nepo baby like Dante is. Dante is a fucking nepo baby, okay? That's the one thing I didn't like. Dante's a nepo baby, and he just, in this whole book, gets everything that he wants and brings other people down who, in my opinion, didn't deserve it. To me, Heath didn't really deserve his whole company tanking because his company was gonna go public. It was gonna be this big thing, and Heath was gonna make a lot of money off of his own merit that he earned, right? Obviously, all millionaires, like, boo, tomato. I mean, not millionaires, like billionaires, boo, tomato. But, so what happens is that Dante calls up some people and is, I don't like this motherfucking Heath guy. He tried to steal my girl. I want you to take down his company. And he has the power to do that. He makes a few calls, and Heath's company starts to struggle. That's just, to me, so fucked. This wealthy man who grew up in wealth just gets everything he wants, gets the girl, and then someone who worked really hard to get where they are, he just takes them down because he didn't like what they did, that he was trying to steal his girl. A girl that he really thought, I don't know how to put it into words, but to me, when Dante did that, it just made me feel so icky. He was just taking down someone who spent so much of their life and their hard-working mind and money and just took them down. And it was just so easy for him to do that. And I guess that is a play of, yeah, the wealthy can do that. The wealthy does do that. And it's so easy for the rich to stay rich and the poor to stay poor. And it could be a play on how that, come out in extremes. But to me, he's the main character, okay? If you're gonna have the main character do that, it just felt so icky. I'm not gonna love him. Why are you doing that? Oh no, it just made me feel really icky, and I just felt really actually bad for Heath. He didn't seem like the worst person ever. And then this happens again with Vivian's dad. Yeah, Vivian's dad kind of did deserve it, not gonna lie. But after all of it comes out, he's like, yeah, take Vivian's dad's business. This business that he's worked for over 40, 50 years to attain. He's just makes a few calls, you're going down the drain. Bars? I just rhymed. What the fuck? Anyway, yeah, Vivian's dad is not the best person, and he does think too much about money, and he's greedy and corrupt and wants to be a part of a society that doesn't really care about him. But I just felt really icky that it's just so easy for this man, this super nepo baby man, grew up into wealth, to just take down the small guy. I hated that. The one thing I really didn't like about the book, even though it's probably really realistic, it just made me not like the main character because it's the main character doing that stuff. But other than that, that's my little ramble on that. I liked the book. It was fine. 4 out of 5 stars. Not the most, oh my god, quotes in it. I wasn't jaw dropped on the floor swooning over the quotes in this book. I wasn't head over heels, couldn't put the book down, but I did really like the book. So yeah, that's my kind of review. If you've read the book, please let me know your thoughts. I love reading your comments about it. I read through all of them. You guys are crazy because you will send paragraphs and paragraphs, essays of what you thought of the books, and it just makes me feel there's finally someone I can talk to about it, And I really read through all of them, and I like them, and it's just really interesting conversations to have. So thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you read the book. Please let me know if I should continue the series, if the books get better, worse. I will catch you in the next one.